Greetings, Snow Owls! This is Matt Patrick. Last time on Total Drama Island, Chris McClean introduced us to new victims, campers, where they have to survive hot colds, cabbage cannonballs, closed water tanks, scary girls jackhammer, raptors, catapults, cassowaries, a 50-foot tapeworm, a mountain full of bees, a 14-hour heat wave, a flying turtle, a cave fish monster, and an ore ball covered in goat milk vomit. So, who's ready for round 2? It's that time again to go back to the island once again. A few years ago, Total Drama Island returned to TV as an animated revival series. New characters, new challenges. During its production, it already received a 2-season deal. But when they said a second season, they want to do another Pockettail Island thing where they secretly call it Part 2 of the reboot's first season, just to add more confusion. I've already looked over the first half of the reboot, and I had an amazing time with this new edition. The characters play a great game, the challenges were awesome, and it still holds on to that reality show satire. And just as the last finale promised, they're doing a sequel, and all the newbies are going to play again. Welcome to another episode of The Wonder Reviews. I thought it was the end, but no, my friends, this is when we get to do it all again. This is part 2 of the Total Drama Island reboot. Once again, the 16 new contestants are back again and another chance to win another $1 million. They have to compete in challenges, form alliances, and vote everyone off one by one. Last person standing wins the grand prize. As you can already tell, the reboot's competition is right back where they started. We don't send the new players to the abandoned film lot like in Season 2 or anywhere else. They still have to spend the time at the island that looks like Camp Wawanakwa. Now, to Part 2's credit, it does take us to new locations to make the challenges intriguing, like an iceberg challenge, a prairie set, and a human-sized pinball game. Plus, they still had some dramatic bits during their walkway through the campfire ceremony. This resulted in many of the new challenges awesome to watch. You never know how they're going to get out in a sticky situation or who's really going to win. Some are creative like the sticky sap and the Chris Coin pinball game. Others test their strength for bravery like fighting the biggest thing ever or getting fishhooked into a fear chamber. There are even times they take inspiration from Squid Game, like Would You Rather or Grandma's Footsteps. The character designs still remain the same as we saw Chris, Chev, and the reboot characters. However, there are new characters and creatures that do stand out the most in terms of looks and character designs. There's MacArthur and her 4 dogs, where each of them have a dangerous feature or threatening nature. Chef's grandma, Axe Hatchet, is an ace pitcher that can hit paintball and never miss. And other animals like sheep, bees, chickens, horses, and a few others are used in a comedic way during the competition. However, the contestants' character animation are still pretty good with some smooth movements and some amazing aerobics. A good example is in the second episode taking it to the Rim Reaper, where they had to make a perfect landing into the basket through the slopes. Even though we're right back where the revival started, it can still give us new things to look at, and many of the 3D effects and some of the objects look pretty nice. But still, a part of me did kind of wish we did go back to the old movie lot, especially since one of the characters is the movie star. I think there are tons of genres you can still satirize at this day and age. First one to match their cinematic universe wins immunity. Oh, I know! The Smurfiverse! Okay, you've been voted out of the game. Aww. For today's challenge, you have to kill this childhood monster. Huh? Charles, I dare you to make an AI anime movie. That's him, officer! That's the guy that's trying to steal my job!
Come on, McClean,
Hey,
you're coming
what are you
with
doing?
us.
Let go of me! When making part 2 set on the island again and bringing back the reboot characters, it can still be a double-edged sword. On one side, it does give some characters more screen time than they had last time, introduce us to new story arcs like Caleb forming a relationship with Priya, or Bowie choosing to win the game for Raj, or by cheating to secure safety. And the continuity from part 1 remains perfectly canon and intact. On the other hand though, by the time we nearly reach the end of the season and who remains left in the game, it can feel like the finale to part 2 was rushed. I won't spoil anything, but when the show tried to narrow down who should be the new winner of Total Drama, it leaves a lot of head scratching, asking yourself, is this the person they're really building up to be the champion? I know it's a reality show where anyone can win, but they barely focus on some characters and who should win in the end. It's also noticeable that some characters do repeat the same mistake that got them eliminated on their first run. but I will give Part 2 some praise that the interactions between the characters are worth watching throughout the season, displaying interesting dynamics, a sense of drama when trying to play the game, and some of the jokes are pretty funny, like the line deliveries, facial expressions, or some of the visual gags.
It's an adorable snowman! He means abominable.
So why is it that the Revival's first final showdown did better than this one? Well, Priya was one of the many focus characters because she did spend years on becoming a Total Drama Pro, and there was a genuine friendship between her and Millie that you do want to see if she can win or not. That's why that ending worked. And the same applies to the other winners we had in the past, like Owen, Heather, Cameron, and more, because they were dedicated characters that makes you want to root for them. Again, it's not the new winners' fault, they really are a good character. It's just that the second half of the game felt rushed. But there is still a lot to say about the rest of the cast, and I mean it in a good way. It is still pretty cool to give these new characters another shot at the $1 million, but the trickiest part about bringing them back is figuring out who can last longer or who doesn't. Chris McClean and Chef are the same host, with Chris being the cynical villainous leader, and Chef is his assistant, where he points out all the mistakes the contestants made that could cause their eliminations. There are some cameos like Owen and MacArthur that do make special appearances, and the jokes for them are hilarious. As for the contestants themselves, we do get some new developments from them to show they don't want to repeat the same mistake that got them kicked off like last time. Damien, for instance, is now keen on winning the $1 million. He's still scared of every danger Chris gives to them, but he's now familiar on how the game works and decided to become brave. Another character that got a massive upgrade is Caleb. Last season, he was just the hot guy that got voted off first, but in this one, he decided to play the game by forming an alliance with Priya due to her winning last time. However, the more he spends time with her, they become more than just an alliance. However, since Caleb is like the nicest person on the island, his kindness is also a weakness towards his game, causing a series of drama and misunderstanding between him and Priya, and an easy puppet for Julia. Speaking of the influencer, Julia is still the main villain of the reboot, and she is nasty and badder than ever. But the best part about her role is that she's not doing her evil deeds alone. She decided to team up with MK. Yes, she was the one who exposed her true self, and that got her kicked off. But since they both had a history of doing a lot of bad deeds before and during the competition, you can clearly see the chemistry between these two characters. What's even crazier is that MK disguised herself as one of Chris's interns so she can cheat her team to victory, which causes Bowie being torn between two places. He wants to win the game to avoid elimination and have the vote to get rid of Julia, but he doesn't want to disappoint his boyfriend Raj, who is fully against cheating. As for the rest of the characters, some like the Huggy Bros, Scary Girl, and Z do present some enjoyable comedy. Others like Priya and Nichelle show off some amazing math skills. But some characters either didn't offer a lot or didn't learn their lesson why they lost the first time. Like Millie is Priya's best friend who promised to study the Total Drama Manual, but she secretly didn't. Emma and Chase are broken up for good this time, but Chase is still the egotistical dude, and Emma doesn't offer a lot as a character outside of her former relationship. And then there are Ripper and Axel. I'll admit I find Ripper funnier than he was in part 1, but with no rhyme or reason, they decided to make him and Axel a couple. Yeah, the hardcore zombie survivalist that smacked him off the ship and chomped his arm equals love, I guess. Was that Ripper's character? Was this something these two were known for? Axel doesn't look like the kind that wants to find a special someone. She was already a cool character to begin with. We can have a serious tough gal play Tomb Raider in Total Drama Island. Even when they do become a thing, the relationship doesn't translate well as a romantic comedy. It just makes Axel somewhat naive to fall for a guy like Ripper. Oh, and one more thing. As much as I find Z funny, and he is still one of my favorite Revival characters, I didn't like the side plot he was given involving Caleb and Priya. He was asked to keep their true feelings a secret, but of course he got too stressed about it and didn't want to keep it in, and you can guess where that whole cliche goes. So, is part 2 of the reboot considered a disappointment? Not really. It's not all stars or drama-rama. It's just as good as the original Season 2. The Part 2 Total Drama Island reboot is a solid follow-up to its own predecessor. While it's not better than its first attempt with a rushed structure and a disorganized elimination order, but most of the new characters are still likable, the animation is still good, and the challenges are always a lot of fun. If you're still a huge Total Drama fan, you will still have an amazing time with Part 2 of the reboot. So now that the world finally caught up to the Revival series, are we still going to get another season out of it? To be honest, I don't really know. After they complete Part 2 during production, there has not been a single Total Drama news that another season is in production. And given how much we already know that Warner Bros. Discovery doesn't want cartoons anymore on their own streaming platform, The signs are not sounding positive. While some of our favorite Cartoon Network shows, plus the Total Drama Island reboot, have found happy homes on Hulu, it's still too little too late to make up for lost time in North America. I could be wrong, and I really do wish I am wrong about the reboot being officially over, but for now, I'm just gonna have to take a grain of salt on this one. Oh well, at least I still have some object shows and Adventure Camp to keep me entertained. I'm going to get part 2 of the reboot a B. I'm Mad Hatter Patrick. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm going to play with the animatronic monster from TDA. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed this, check out these other videos, or feel free to like, comment, and subscribe for more upcoming reviews and other projects. I'll see you soon.